Good evening, good evening, good evening. Here I am. It's Wednesday, and we've got a great show for you tonight. We have got the inimitable Mikey Dowling, comedian from down in Cambridge, down there. I've known him for many, many years. Funny chap, very well respected. More of an agent and an event and manager of a club. Still keeps his hand in, but we got some funny stories and stuff to tell. So let's move that mic out of the way. It'll be a good start. And so Mikey Dowling, where are you, old chap?
Town of Cambridge, mate.
Here he is. Cambridge.
Yeah. It's a lovely little village. It's lovely, mate. Just in the club where I manage, like you said, where I've actually put on lots of events as well, which you've been part of for many, many years now. I try to get you involved because you're quite cheap.
I said to that to someone today. I said, we've done a lot of our stuff in the early days where he didn't even know if someone was going to turn up, let alone anything else.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But,
with an act like ours, we had to travel, didn't we, Adrian? Yes, I'm here in the workplace.
I think you're being modest. I mean, I was trying to make a note of the people that you've put on there. I mean, you know, you've got Dave Courtney, Cass Pent and Joe Egan all on the same bill one Sunday afternoon. I mean, I don't know how that's going for it, isn't it?
And yourself, and also Russell. He done a little bit, didn't he? Remember? Russell.
Right. Now you mention it, yeah.
And he contacted me to say, could I get involved? He weren't going to charge anything, and just to get a few names, sort of who he worked with, and he was very good, yeah. And we obviously you speak to him a lot, and I was supposed to be on a show with him a few months back, and he's a very busy comedian now himself, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
Russell, yeah, he's doing very well, yeah.
You were there at the beginning with him.
Yeah. That's where I am. That's where I'm located. I'm in my happy place, really, because I feel safe.
Look, we met up for a little drink, didn't we, in the winter?
We did, yeah.
Were you visiting your granddad, was it?
That was my dad. My dad's in a care home just down the road, and the matron's, she's a lovely girl, but she's nicknamed him Spider-Man, Adrian.
Why is that?
She can't get him out of the bath. It's nice of you to come down there, yeah. I'm going down there tomorrow, probably tomorrow as well, Adrian. But yeah. So that was nice, yeah.
It's about a 3-hour run for me by transport, and about 3 hours.
I know. I didn't realise because we was like 5 pints in. You said, "I'm just getting the train now." I was like, "Oh my god."
So of course we were talking the other week on here with sad that we lost Dave. Of course, a bit of a shock.
Absolutely, and you introduced me to the man himself, Dave Courtney, and I find myself sticking up for him when he was alive. Not sticking up for him physically, but saying that isn't the man. He's got the biggest heart. He's got a heart as big as a dustbin lid. We did have, and he'll do anything for you. And I've had many chats. Luckily enough to meet him through yourself, and he's going to be one of these people you're all going to remember. I mean, we were speaking today just a minute ago. How long do people get remembered for? I was speaking earlier, like a few weeks. 1 year, and then they sort of forgotten about. But that man is right up there with the best, mate. In all honesty, and I listened to an interview the other day with his house sitter friend, minder, mate, and it was quite sad actually. And I was listening to it during the night, and it was quite sad. I thought that man was very close to him, and I thought to myself, is that the same as yourself, Adrian? A very close friend of Dave's, and lots of love for him, a lot of love for him, yeah.
I don't know if you can move your chair back a little bit. You look like you're doing an advert for Specsavers.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm funny.
Perfect. That's perfect.
I'm in Specsavers at the moment.
Oh, how are you?
Yeah,
I went there the other day. You want to guess who I bumped into?
Everyone. Yes! Remember you taught me the jokes, Adrian. So
sorry, mate.
Sorry. So I'm going to use some of yours in a minute.
I know where I nicked that from. Yeah. No, it was... we had a little drink down in Wimbledon, a lot of the faces, because obviously the South London crew don't necessarily go all the way over to East London. They've got to try and get back from London, and all that. So whereas a lot of them lived on there. And there's a guy called Ronnie Field who's just writing a book. And he was an old bank robber back in the day, and done loads of work for him over the years, and done loads of stuff. He runs a club over there, Conservative club over in England. in
Okay.
the park actually. And anyway, we all had a drink, and he told a story about how he was in Belmarsh high security prison, like a prison within a prison, and he Ron had an heart attack, and allegedly, for the purpose of the tape, they were dragging their heels a little bit, getting the ambulance, and they wanted to lock everyone away and all this, and Dave wouldn't let go of him and held on to him, and even though they were hitting Dave with batons and really bashing him up, but he wouldn't let him, stayed with him.
Loyal.
There to tell the tale, so he obviously remembers that.
Very loyal agent. Obviously, you know him like your best mate, but a loyal person, mate. And I did shed a tear when I found I was gutted, actually, when I found out. And I texted you and said, "This is true," because I hadn't heard nothing. I was gutted because he would always answer a text message. He'd always answer the phone, and he'd always say, "Are you cool?" That's all he'd say. Like he does. And I've got lots of time. I had time, and I still got lots of memories from him. And yeah, good guy.
Another guy you had, I think it was the first boxing night that you put on, was John H. Stacey. That was one of my favourites, actually.
John H. Stracey. He's actually an MBE now, which he thoroughly deserves. And he's the oldest living world champion boxer, WBC champion in the UK, actually. Which is a fact. If you get a quiz anywhere one day and they ask you who's the oldest, that is actually John H. Stracey.
That is amazing. It was his birthday the other day. My mate Martin went up to his birthday up because he lives up north, doesn't he? I think.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, but he must be a better friend because I never got invited.
I think it was his 70th, was it? His 70th?
That would be 70, yeah. He was just, a great speaker, a great boxer before my time, but he does his stuff for charity like lots of people, and he well deserves the MBE.
And I don't know if you remember, because I know you're busy that end, but there was a couple of things that stick in my mind about that interview. And one of them was, of course, that he was only a little boy when the Krays were alive.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember him telling the story about him. He was looking through the back window, when they used to be all in there and all that sort of thing. He was only a little boy. And he grew up right, near the Blind Beggar and right there down near Bethnal Green and stuff like that. It was that. And the other thing that stuck in my mind, which I thought what must have been an absolute buzzy thing to happen to you, was when he went into Madison Square Gardens to get his world title fight.
Yeah.
And I don't remember now if he was defending it or not, but he was saying that he was in the ring there, and he looked down and he had Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and
the other one. No one ever can remember his name, you know.
Yeah, what's his name? Junior. Something about me.
Not Lewis.
No, hang on. Yeah, what is the matter with me? The Rat Pack, anyway.
Yeah. So that poor fella never gets remembered. That's not.
No, he should be. He was more talented than all of them. Hang on.
Yeah.
Oh dear, that's going to kill me. That.
And also that day.
What a buzzy little thing. You've just gone to a night at the office and you look down and you got them three watching you.
They got better than that, Adrian. Remember what he said? He was in his dressing room, and Elvis walked in.
Oh, I've forgotten that.
Yeah.
Remind me.
Yeah, and another little story from that. That he went over to Madison Square Garden with John Conti.
Yeah.
And Joe Bugner.
And
Joe Bugner lost.
Our wonderful producer has just kindly informed me that the name we couldn't think of was Sammy Davis Jr. What we like, Sammy Davis Jr.
It's a good job of internet, isn't it? I tried to contact someone earlier, and I couldn't get them. I was literally outside of my mobile phone. They're great old things, these phones, but I imagine if I needed to call an ambulance, it'd be quick to write a letter.
Are you having trouble hearing me? Because you keep.
I can hear you. What about my mobile phone earlier? I was outside.
All right.
My son was in America. I couldn't get one. I said, imagine calling an ambulance. You wouldn't be able to get through. You'd have to write him a letter, Adrian. Yeah, so Elvis. So go with Elvis. Yeah, so that was and he's sparring in the ring. Sorry, I'm sort of taking over at boxing because I'm very. I like the old stuff because I'm more into that. But
lean back a bit. Lean back a bit. Yeah, go on.
Sorry. Yeah. Muhammad Ali stood on his foot. Do you remember that story?
No, go on.
And he couldn't believe it. Muhammad Ali went, ah! And Muhammad Ali literally picked him up. And like he said, he couldn't believe he got Muhammad Ali just cuddling him, you know? Amazing.
Who was that? John H. Stacey?
Yeah, same day.
Wow. What a wonderful story to be able to tell to people, do you know what I mean?
What a story, yeah.
And of course, one of the cuddly ones had to be Frank Bruno.
Yeah, I really had time for Frank Bruno. Yeah, very, very. You just want to cuddle him. Yeah, like you just said, cuddling. You want to cuddle the man. You know what I mean? He was fun to be with, but unfortunately, the week after, he ended up in the Priory or something like that, didn't he?
Yeah, well,
you was interviewing him and all, so I don't know if it's got anything to do with that.
I done a massive gig with him in sort of Worthing, Hove, 18 months ago, and he doubled. So he done one in Wales, and then he travelled down to Worthing to do the second one, and it was like about 400 or 500 people, and there was 2 women in her, and one of them was finished up getting drunk and started asking him questions about his mental health, which he duly answered beautifully. And then they wouldn't stop asking him about it. And he said, well, I go to the doctor, I'll take my medication, and I go to the gym, and I get on all right. I'm all right. But they wouldn't stop, and it was awful. And when you leave somewhere and you think to yourself, that was really difficult, but knowing me as you do, I do tackle things, don't I? I don't let it get out of hand. You know what I mean?
Frank Bruno's very honest. Honestly with himself, because he's got a story, he's got a journey, a story, and he's what you call like all the housewives. You're allowed to say that now. They'll always, even if they didn't like boxing, they'd like him, you know, because he just got that. He's got the aura, mate, and he's got the personality, and he's so down to earth. He's unbelievable, really. Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
So we were looking today at a few of the old comedians that we sort of love, and I know it's probably before your time, and Dave Allen.
Yeah, I remember Dave. Looking back and things, I don't remember him as a kid, but not really taking much notice of him. But his stories were very long. He used to have one hand, one finger missing, or
that's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like that, he'd go.
Yeah.
He'd have a glass of scotch and he'd be sitting on a stool, wouldn't he?
Yeah, glass of scotch. And the only little story I can remember what he's saying, I think, did he go to a convent or something? He was getting put in a boarding school in like a Catholic convent or something like that. And he went through all these corridors. He's going to put in there, and they said, "You will behave." And he looked up and he see Jesus on the cross. He said, "I best to behave," something like that. Just he was a long storyteller, and again, very clever. That's all you can put.
He was one of the first. He was in the early comedians to do the short little comedy series. Like a little segment to break away from sitting on the stool and doing a little bit. And we've got a little bit here for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So here he is. If you don't know who we're talking about, the great Dave Allen, ladies and gentlemen.
Another joke like Nick Adrian.
bit of Dave Allen.
Why you don't get a remote control set, I'll never know.
Sam, I'll show you the sitting room first, all right?
Yes, thanks, Dave. Yeah.
Door open. What was that? It was the door.
Well, no, that opened on its own.
No, it didn't open on its own. The whole place is, it's the latest thing in domestic automation. Everything works on a voice command. You don't believe me, do you?
Well, no.
Watch. Door close.
That's extraordinary.
Curtains close. Lights on. Fire on.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
No.
What's say the fire?
This is my favorite. Television. Channel 3 on. Cancel. Return.
That's speechless. Can I have a go?
Yes, do.
Door open. Curtains open. Lights off.
Makes you feel like God,
That's
doesn't it?
amazing. Fire off. Anything else?
Everything here.
Chair. Oh. Back at me.
No!
Brilliant. There's a bit of Morecambe and Wise in them kind of actually found sketches like that. They were simple, weren't they? But
I think it's funny as well that they were showing something that in that time was almost scientific, and now everybody's got, it was almost scientific, and now of course we've got Alexa in the room, and you can literally tell it to turn the lights on and off, to turn the telly off, and do everything like from your phone.
it wouldn't be funny now, would it? As such, you know what I mean? I don't know how it'd be funny, but they made it right. Dave Allen made it right, didn't he? He was at it.
He'd have about 50 million people watching him, you know.
I know, yeah. How many people we got watching us at the moment, was we? Because I know it's going to be wasting my time, Adrian.
3.
3. Is that me, you, and Nigel?
I have you know, we had 50,000. We had a certificate for 50,000 viewers.
Yeah.
And 150 subscribers. And you know, as you know, we had a bit of a challenge last year with my father passing, and
yeah, God bless him. Yeah,
our producer's good lady wife was a bit poorly, so we lost our way last summer. But you can see we're well back on it now. And as you can see on the bottom of the channel, please subscribe at the UK Comedy Channel, or if you're watching us on YouTube, obviously you can just click it at the bottom. Someone said to me, "How much does it cost?" I know you, and it doesn't cost anything. It's just all about being able to talk and use this medium to help people like yourself that are putting on events, raising money for charities, and for some of the comedians to obviously let people know where they're performing next. And who knows, maybe, you know, I'm sure there's an email address there. You know, if you're someone that'd like to be a comedian, but you don't know where to start, or you want to come along and get a bit of stage time or something like that, then let us know. And if we can help you, we will. But in the meantime, if you can like and subscribe, that is the somewhere commercial. That is the end of today's commercial. But talking about that, you had a bit of sadness yourself, Mike, didn't you? Was that last 14 months ago now, wasn't it?
It's basically, Adrian, it feels like it's about a year and a half now. It was a few days before Christmas, well, 2 or 3 days before Christmas. Yeah, I lost my wife. But she was very poorly, with breathing difficulties and stuff. She's only 42. We managed to get married just before she passed away. 44. We were married for about 45 minutes, I suppose, in all. About the same time as my routine. It wasn't as funny as my routine. Yeah, I miss her dearly. We've got a little daughter, and she would have a stepson. But she was a big support to me because obviously I don't drive. She took me everywhere. You met her on lots and lots of occasions. She thought the world of you. And yeah, she was a big support in what I did and telling jokes. And when I was, when I first met, I was telling jokes. So it lasted 14 years, to be honest with you. So we had a bit of a journey together. And we finally tied them up, unfortunately, the day she passed away. But she was always there for me, Adrian, with all the events I put on, you know, like the Frank Brunos, the Nigel Benns, the Kenny Simons, the hot chocolate. I go on for quite a while. But literally, she supported me. She wasn't there. She never always turned up for the event, but she was there taking me around, getting raffle prizes, collecting posters, putting posters up. So to me, she was unbelievable. Yeah, and she
epitomised that for every good man, there's a strong woman, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll have a little toast to our Jane. Cheers.
Yeah, I'm just having one of my 5 a day at the minute, Adrian.
5 days.
Yeah, to Jane. Yeah.
Bless
Who am I
her
talking to now then?
Who are you talking to now? And I'll tell you who else to see crop up on there. I don't know if we were supposed to see that or not, but I loved it. The bent over in front of the telly. I got a little stirring coming on there for a minute. Benny Hill. Do you remember Benny Hill?
Yeah, Benny Hill. Yeah, I think he ended up. I mean, I've got a bloke who sings karaoke. He does his song, "The Fastest Milk Run in the West." But he's another one who had a lot of women in his life, didn't he? And he ended up. I think he ended up skinned, didn't he, in a council house, council flat somewhere.
I don't think he was skinned. I think he never moved out of council house.
Maybe you again. That's I don't
think. No, you might be right. But what I do know is he was a bit like a bit like the Welsh singer lady. She didn't move out of her house, did she?
Yeah, maybe that might be true.
And,
Yeah, I can't imagine his skin actually,
and,
but that's what, yeah.
And I'll tell you who else sticks in my mind. I think was similar was Ken Dodd.
Yeah.
He never left his little village where he lived in,
No.
Guildford or wherever it was. Yeah.
I think that's why I'm staying here, Adrian. I don't want to, lose my roots and that,
Yeah, do you mind
No,
if
well,
I turn over?
you are. Oh, hello. We've got a bit. Benny Hill's come up. Look, there he is.
Tell him we need a bit of warming up for these. Oh yeah, there we are. Yeah.
Why you don't get a remote control set, I'll never know.
I'll show you the sitting room first, all right?
Yes, thanks, Dave.
Door.
I'll tell you what I done. My Benny Hill thing is, this probably sounds so mad to people that are like woke and don't like him and can't stand him and he's terrible and he's Muslistic and all the rest. What's the word I'm looking for? No, it's gone out of me. Anyway, so I used to go to a little place called the Endeavour Boys Club in Morden.
Right.
And there was a guy had died and he left all his money to this club. And it was a fabulous club. And it was run by Charlie Drake, the comedian's brother, Ted Drake.
Okay.
And they used to have a television room. So I think it was a Wednesday night off the top of my head that the Benny Hill show was on. Well, there was two shows back to back, Star Trek and Benny Hill. I can't remember which way round it was. How many kids got into this little television room?
Yeah.
I would like to say it was so hot in there and everyone was there because they were all little testosterone, little teenagers, all wanting to watch Benny Hill, or in this instance, watching her bending over and and where's the television control? That was a major part of the week. That was to see that. Yeah.
And from that show, which I mean, like, how many years ago? Like 70s, was it?
Yeah.
Early 80s. I don't know.
Yeah.
70s probably.
70s.
It's still being shown like you've shown it. You're showing it now. So
I know.
I mean, it's remarkable, really. And people think of Benny Hill. They will think of him. That's like, yeah. Be nice to be in that position, wouldn't it? I'll tell you a comedian I really like. Sorry.
You touched on it with Dave Courtney. He's going to be one of them ones that's rolls on.
I was looking back a bit. I take a comedian and he was and he's a friend of yours, I believe. Yeah, I do like. I'd love to say I do like Bobby Devereaux, mate. I've just got. He's just a bit like he's a gag teller, but he's got it. He's got it. He can sing. He can do anything really, can't he?
Oh, I saw him Christmas, just before Christmas. I saw him down in Aldershot Way.
Yeah.
And Alton. And he's live there, obviously, and fantastic. And you're right, we did have a chat, and I do know him quite well. And when I first met him, he called me Tony Blackburn. So I used to have a binge then.
Yeah.
And he called me Tony Blackburn then. And I did have a joke on him once. I was doing a gig in this sort of millionaire's house, and Bobby Devereaux rang. Now, when Bobby Devereaux used to ring me to come and do the oddballs for him at his show, he does a variety show in Woking.
Yeah.
In the theatre there, and the Oddballs done it a few times, and so he wanted to ring about that. So whenever he rung me, he would always do a Rocky impersonation. So he go, Adrian. Right. Yeah. So when as I was walking into this venue, the owner of this fabulous house down in Winchester, he went, "It's Bobby Devereaux. It's Bobby Devereaux." He went, "You answer it, and he gave me the phone. So I done Mrs. Doubtfire on him. He was completely thrown. He just didn't know what "Oh, is that you, Bobby dear?" And I said, "Oh, wake up, dear, and smell the coffee." He could work out it was. It was funny. So anyway, so that was that. But so he used to call me Tony Blackburn, and he had a little stroke recently. I don't know if you picked up on it. He was a bit poorly.
No, I hadn't, but I know he lost his partner, didn't he?
Yeah, and that as well. Yeah, the stress.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he's back on it. I think he's back gigging. It's a friend of mine's part of his tour management. And
fair play.
So he's back to it. Yeah. So he's and I think he's going to have a little show on Jim Davison's Ustream.
He's been on there, Adrian.
Yeah, he's been on there, but I think he's going to have a little. You've got a little exclusive there.
Yeah.
I think it's going to,
That might be him on the phone to me. Let me know. That might be. Hold on a second. No, it's not Adrian. It's not Bobby Devereaux, mate. No, he only rings you up, doesn't he? No, just someone I've always sort of built myself around. Whereas young comic. I liked him, and because he's quite a simple gag man, you know. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's all right. I was going to ask you what's next for you. I mean, you've got the club, you've booked big events,
I started doing the like podcasting thing, which I want to get back into. I've only done one really, but I really enjoyed it. Like I'm doing now, I really enjoyed just chatting away and not a lot of pressure. And I did a little spot the last week before last, actually. Wasn't meant to be, but I did. There was about 30.
Well, there you are. Look, let's talk.
Yeah,
With Mikey Dowling.
Yeah. So I got all the good stuff, but I need to. Yeah, I need to. I've had a few names. Sort of, Dave Courtney was one of them, but who was going to do one. John X Tracy, we touched upon, was going to do another one, and can still do another one. Do one, sorry. And I done that Kenny Simon for Hot Chocolate. That's the one I actually done, and I really enjoyed it. Just talking. I'm not saying all my words come out completely pure English, but it's just how I am, you know.
Talking about Kenny Simons, I don't know if you know the story or whether he talked about it with you, but I've known Kenny Simons for about 30 years.
Yeah.
And originally, can you believe, he was my agent when I started.
Right.
And he was one of the first persons to book Mrs. Doubtfire.
Right.
And at that time, he was a singer. And he used to ironically do a Hot Chocolate tribute.
That's it, yeah.
And he also used to manage a guy called Popsy Williams, who won Stars in Their Eyes as Barry White. And he was absolutely fantastic. And I'll tell you how good he was. I had him on in Caesars in South London. We had 1,000 people there for a 3-course meal. It was the same night that I had the 17-piece orchestra that you see on my website, and the song that I always usually open up if I'm doing cabaret. Yeah. And that night, Popsy Williams topped the show off. I swear to God, I was having to explain to people because they kept saying to me, "How did you get Barry White? How did you get Barry White?" And I'm going, no, it's what it is after about 10 times, I give up in the end. I went, yeah, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah.
And one of the most touching things I've ever seen was Popsy died. And at the funeral, Kenny Simons, obviously because he used to manage him, and he went up and he said, well, you know, he was a great friend and blah, 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 blah. And he said, and some of you might know that he used to do a Barry White tribute for which I managed him. He said, before I go, he said, I'd just like to say from Popsy, I love you just the way you are.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so lovely the way he did that. Do you know what I mean?
Wonderful. He's a really nice man. He told me his story and he's yeah, I have a lot of time and I still speak to him on the phone and I'm allowed to go up there and not allowed, I'll go where I want, but he said he'll meet up. We went to Scotland and stuff. Yeah, he loved it. His wife seems like a lovely lady as well. So
he was in Mitcham, South London in my day. For those of you listening, you guys listening at home, so Kenny Simons, as we said, he was a singer and he used to do a Hot Chocolate tribute. And some of you may remember that the actual lead singer of Hot Chocolate sadly passed away. So he ended up getting recruited, and he's now the lead singer of Hot Chocolate. Yeah. Does big stadiums,
and he looks like him, doesn't he? It's unbelievable. Yeah, I think he said it was a bit of an accident, really, because I think it was something to do with the you know that film they done about not about Hot Chocolate, that oh dear. It's going to come to the 4 men who were unemployed and they did.
The Full Monty.
Yeah, it was something to do with them, and he started getting gigs. It was something around that situation.
What it was is the song. The Hot Chocolate song. You think I'm sexy?
I believe in miracles.
I believe in miracles was one of the lead songs in that, and so therefore, because of that, it gave Hot Chocolate as like a second coming, if you like, you know. Yeah. And that's what that did, you know. So was I right in saying you had Duncan Norvell down your end at some point?
Yeah, we did a show with Duncan Norvell, and he was really good. I was a bit worried because where we are, and like you've done the shows here and in Cambridge, they're not always the best crowd in the world unless you're related to them. But Duncan Orwell done really well. Yeah, he did really well, and he sung. He actually sung for the first because he could sing. He could sing really well, didn't he, in the day? But he actually done his first song with a lovely lady, Regan. You know Ronald Regan, Regan.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lovely chap, and his wife's a singer. And they sung a song together, and yeah, for the first time, a bit of tutoring. But yeah, he was very good, and we've done a show with Dean Michael from Black Lace.
Right.
So it was good. We raised money for autism, or to take children to. I think we ended up donating money in the end. Because the practical or the logistical, whatever word you're supposed to use, about getting people with autism together and taking them away. It's a bit of a professional job. It's like, if you know what I mean, you need to know what. I was able to just get like a bus full of people who've got autism, take them out for the day, pay for the day, and then take them home. But it's not as easy. There's a lot of 1-to-1 needed, or 2-to-1 sometimes, you know. But that was the idea. I think we donated the money in the end.
But you've done so much for the last few years, haven't you?
I fit things in. Yeah, I've done lots of it. I fit lots of things in, and like I said, it's not all. There's a lot of selfish people around, Adrian. You met them as you go along.
Yeah.
But and you're certainly one of the people that know when you've always got time for people, Adrian. You sort of guided me. Yeah, so you've been a big inspiration for me. But there's a lot of selfish people. It's always nice to help someone else. You feel a lot better in yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Even just walking down the street, and I'm quite well known around here and stuff. And then there's a lady trying to cross the road, and I help them across, and realise they don't actually want to cross. But you know what I mean. You find it quite. I find it quite strange, even though because of the way the world is and things going on, especially the news. And like you're in Tesco's and there's a lady and you're trying to get, like the other day I was trying to get her a basket off the floor, and she went all mad. She thought I was going to nick it, and I think that's the way of the world. I was actually trying to help her, It's just a bit sad, but yeah, I've done lots of charities. Maggie's cancer charity, I do, which is quite a small charity, and they help with people going through cancer, giving them like wigs and stuff. If they're losing their hair, and lots of support. I could go on lots of different, hundreds of charities, and even hundreds really. I reckon, well, near 100 anyway. Yeah, but it's nice to help. If it's £1 or it's £1,000, every little helps, So I like the smaller charities because I feel the money's getting there. Then some of the big charities like managing the directors on £200,000 a year. So I'd rather help more local now than. But I'm always up for
100%. There was a big. I'm not going to name them in this particular case, but it was a big charity, and I'd done a walk for them. I'd done a walk for them for quite a few years, and then they asked me to go down to Leeds Castle, and I think it was about nearly 150 mile, 200 mile round trip. So I asked for a little bit of fuel money, only because I'd realised that the Elvis was on about 400 quid and somebody else was on something else and all the rest of it. And I just thought to myself, hang on. And it took them 6 months to give me about 50 quid's worth of fuel. And while I would then asked me to go and do Wentworth Golf Club. And that's when, as you say, I was sitting there quietly minding my own business. I'd done the sound check and I was listening to them all talking about their salaries and what their new S-Class Mercedes is going to be like. And I thought, hold on a minute, I'll go from Eastbourne to Wentworth to sit here to do this gig for the auction for nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, and wow, So I agree.
It's that's a bit sort of degrading. You're doing it for nothing to help her, but they are getting the big dollars. I mean, I do agree in some respect when you're getting someone who's getting paid £45,000 who can then generate £1 million.
Yeah.
Well, that's money well spent. But if there's someone just sitting in the office and getting that as a sort of a bit of a tax relief, this and a bit of this and that, I'm not really up for that, mate. Yeah, that's my opinion. But I'm not naming the charities, no.
So have you got any favourite jokes that you like?
Who?
Have you any particular jokes that you like that you're sort of you've heard recently?
Everything's a bit of a joke. I mean, for instance, last night, Adrian, there was 2 women outside having a fight over me. So I rang you up, Adrian. You can't remember it, but I rang you up, Adrian. I said, I've got two women outside fighting over me. He said, what's the problem? I said, the fat one's winning. No, that's not my favourite joke because I wouldn't get
That'd
no
be
fun.
good on. That'd go well on Britain's Got Talent, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
That'd
that'd be
shut
nice
down
to see.
ITV.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say that your girlfriend had been on a keep fat diet and it worked.
Okay,
You were going to say that, but that'd have been even worse. So I won't say that, Kate, because that's not right.
she's on a BBC diet, Adrian. She buys bigger clothes now.
That's enough to get us put off air, isn't it? Oh no, we've got our own channel here, haven't we? That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, we're not on there yet, mate. We'll wait till we get there. Yeah, no, you find I'm always telling gags, just sitting in the pub or walking down the street in Tesco's or in anywhere. I'm always trying to naturally to make people comfortable, you know. And some people it's a lot easier than others because they're not expecting it, and they go, "Oh, you should be like a comedian." I said, "Well, so," and I go, "Actually, I was doing a bit myself, and I do a bit here and there." But yeah, it's about a confidence thing, really, and like just interacting to you. I was really looking forward to speaking to you today. You know, just having a chat and see where it goes.
We're having a good time, haven't we? Hope everyone else at home. We're not boring you lot at home, but hopefully we've given you a couple of little nuggets. So, who is your favourite comedian of all time? That's something I get asked all the time.
It's got to be Adrian Doughty, mate. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah,
No, one of my favourites. There's a good few. I think a very good gag teller was Mike Reed. I think he was excellent gag teller, strong, and he had the crowds. You know, he had him in the palm. He had these. I mean, he helped you. He was well known, and again, he's someone who went off and lost lots of things in Spain, I think, and then come back and relaunched his. Got an EastEnders and a few other things. He was in a lot of programs other than EastEnders. Mike Reed. Did you ever meet Mike Reed?
I didn't meet him. I met his agent in his early days when he started. He was a coalman when he started. And he'd turn up, he's all dirty, covered in coal, stand at the back while the comedians was on originally.
Yeah.
And the first one of his early agents was a guy called David Childs up in Hertfordshire. He's a lovely man. And, got lots of stories about a lot of the, a lot of you sort of Michael Barrymore's and people like that, But,
yeah, Michael Barrymore, he was an actual funny man. And naturally funny man. I like Bob Monkhouse. I did. I like listening to him because he was very clever. Not to say people liked him or hated him, but I just like that. I like the gags. I like the clever stuff. Again, like Dave Allen as well. I like the clever comedy, and I think it's people telling jokes, but I think it's you've got to be natural. I think you've got to be naturally funny to be able to deliver. Yeah. Yeah, I like Billy Pearce, even though we don't see much of him. But like Billy Pearce, he still is a fantastic comedian. And he was big in the 80s as well. He done I think probably the Royal Variety Show and this and that, the Grand Command or whatever he done. But people like him, they're funny people, mate. It was his mother
that helped launch Joe Longthorne, believe it or not.
I imagine it was Blackpool Way and that, yeah.
The only thing that I found a little bit agitating on one occasion. I was on a show down at the Marlow Theatre in Kent, and Billy went on, and he was a bit like
just one sec, mate. Just I'm in an interview. Can you just me outside? Is she? Of course you can. Yeah. My daughter's just turned up.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yeah.
So he I've lost my train of thought there. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So he was on the show, and obviously it's a variety show with loads of people on it, all sorts of comedians of all sorts. Joe Pasquale. We were talking about Tony Gerard the other day, and
Was he the man in the Was he the man in the wheelchair?
Yeah. One of my favourites.
Yeah. I remember him.
Yeah. He's one. He'd have shoes on. He was in a wheelchair all his life, and he said, H, he said, I've had these shoes 44 years. He said, there's not a mark on them. He said.
Yeah. I think Jim Davison again is a friend. I'm name dropping all your friends, mate, because I'm not that. I used to say my mate Aiden is best friends with Jimmy. All the comedians. Jimmy, obviously, Jimmy Jones, very good comedian. Very, like you say, Jim Davis is fantastic, and yeah, I think I live in the wrong area to be. I reckon if I lived somewhere like Blackpool, or I think I'd have done a lot better, or been more involved a bit more in stuff. What they wait for you. They want to see a comedian. I've been to Blackpool like in the winter, and they've had a comedian in a social club on a Tuesday evening. I mean, where'd you get that? You know what I mean?
You say that though, but am I right in saying that you was actually what sort of launched you originally? Was you run on a radio station? Is that right? Did I read that?
Yeah, look, a TV like a cable TV. You know, before like Virgin and stuff. There's like a cable network, and I'd done like an interview, and I was in the paper, and then the radio. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, again, then that led on to two or three radio interviews and stuff like that, and then winning a couple of competitions as well. I won come first. Actually, in all honesty, I've been quite successful in competitions because it's like been 15 minutes and I've ended up doing 20 minutes. But comedians, there wasn't always many comedians on like little talent shows and stuff. You know, like the holiday camp talent. I done quite well in them. Yeah. And
I've never done it. It's funny, isn't it? It's interesting.
You don't need to.
No, I've never done
it. Stop, Adrian.
One
day in the future, you'll be doing holiday camps and getting 20 minutes and winning 50 quid.
And I'll be doing one. Do you know what? Talking about, I was giving them a plug last week. The Haven holidays now, they've been taken over, and the millions and millions and millions and millions that's being spent on them. I went down to one down back of Kent the other day. What was it called? Anyway, it's Sheerness Way. Anyway, down there. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. You know, we've got a few minutes left. Is there anything you want to share with us? What's going on in the club? You got anyone coming down in the summer?
So what I'm looking at. So I'm trying to launch. Well, I did have. I really wanted to get one. You know Gary Gobstopper.
Yes.
Another unbelievable comedian, and he does the Chubby Brown. And I tried to sell him, and it was not because of him, because he's fantastic. It's just the people up there. It's a hard sell. They don't,
really? That's mad, isn't it?
Well, he was a few quid, and I'm trying to wait for people on the night to go, I'll be there. That wouldn't cover it.
No.
And he's good enough and professional enough to say, that's fine. These things happen. You don't always get that off comedians. They go, well, I've been booked in. Just 2 minutes, darling. To be booked in and say that's all right, but I will give him another go. But that was another one. I want to get Ronnie, the bloke from the he was in American Drifters, Randy Corwood.
Yeah.
And he was actually fantastic. I've had the stylistics. Yeah, sorry, mate. My daughter's here, so she's
being a daughter. She's being normal. It's all right.
She's been.
Yes, there she is, the little princess. She's there.
So that's really quite good to say. I mean, I've only got a couple minutes, but I'm going to stay all night.
They're your minutes. We love you.
But Mia, she a very quiet little girl, very shy. Wouldn't even go in the club. You wouldn't hear her singing or dancing or doing anything. Since her mum passed away, not because of mum, her confidence has built up, and she's telling jokes, she's singing, she's dancing, she's absolutely an inspiration for anyone who lost their mum at 8 years old, you know? 8 years old, and she's become my rock as much as I suppose I am her rock. But she get on a microphone, mate, and she'll sing, and I think, where's that come from, you know?
Get her on the telegate. She's there, and she get her on. Let's get her on. Say hello. Before we got about 2 minutes. Is she gone?
I think she's gone. Yeah, she's gone to another gig. She don't stay long.
Well, I think we're coming to the end very shortly, so in case it cuts off. Thank you for coming on today. Look forward to coming. I'll let you know when I'm down your end.
Yeah, I just want a few more like. Yeah, I could have gone through a million jokes to you on the phone, but it'd be nice just expressing myself a little bit to yourself. And
you can come on again. Listen, you can come on again.
Look.
Here she is.
Come here.
Come here and be famous. Hello, my darling. Hey, here she is.
150,000 views that gets.
Really?
Yeah. Might get a bit more now, you want it?
Absolutely fantastic.
Wait, go back on the thing.
No, it's on. It's live.
Well, there we are. 45 minutes flown by. What can I say? Come on back. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'll see I'll see you at the same time next week if no one pulls out, yeah? Who have you got next week then?
We've got a couple of choices. We might go out live and do it. And we've got what's the name in Brighton? Oh dear, I've got mental block. But yeah, there's about 16 lined up altogether anyway. That I do know.
All right then. Well, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But
Getting confident now.
love to see you, Adrian, speak to you, and nice to meet Nigel. And I'll give him a call, see if he can maybe help me do my podcast. If that's all right.
Yeah, no, you talk to him. That's for sure.
And then he can invoice you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
All right then, mate.
Oh, where we are, we're live. We're live now. You mean that's what you're just saying to me on the thing? Yeah. Have a great summer, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'll see you in the next 10 years, mate.
Thank everyone for joining us tonight.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Absolutely fantastic. See you again soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. God bless.
See you.